בגץ על מוות לא ירא, כי אתה עמדי, שבטך ומשענתך המה ינחמוני. תערוך לפני שולחן נגד צורריי, דשנת ושמן ראשי כוסי רוויה. אך טוב וחסד ירדפוני כל ימי חיי, כל ימי חיי, ושבתי בבית אדוני לאורך ימים. אדוני רואי לא אחסר, אדוני רואי לא Shalom Rabba Yisrael Amcha, Al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam, Ki Ata Hu Melech Adon, Adon Lechol Hashalom. וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה, שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rabba Yisrael Amcha, Al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam, Ki Ata Hu Melech Adon, Adon Lechol Hashalom.
prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true, and with thanksgiving I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true, and with thanksgiving I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Ve'asuli mikdash ve'shachanti betocham va'anachnu nevarech ya me'ata ve'ad olam. Oh Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true, and with thanksgiving I'll be a living sanctuary for you.
This is a setting of Psalm 59. It says, I will sing of your strength, I will sing of your love. You are my haven, my refuge in times of trouble. You are my strength. I sing praise to you. Va'ani ashiru zecha ve'harane laboker chastecha ki hayita miskabli umanos leyom sarli. Va'ani ashiru zecha בחסדך, כי היית משגב לי ומנוס ליום צרלי.
שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו.
return, we return, we return, we return, we return, return again. We return, we return, we return, we return, we return, return again and again to you, to you. To you, to you, to you. We return again to you.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat
Shabbat
shalom.
shalom.
What a blessing it is to be here on this Shabbat Shuvah, the Shabbat of return, our respite between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, with my beautiful musical colleagues, Rabbi Angela Buckdahl and Cantor Julia Kadrain. I'm Rabbi Rebecca Rosenthal, and we are really so grateful to be praying with all of you tonight and bringing in the light of Shabbat this evening. We know that there are so many of you out there watching us on our live stream, on JBS and on Facebook. I saw when I was looking before people from Washington State and Peru, Texas, Ohio, people who I know live just up the street from Central Synagogue. I saw Rabbi Mo Salth, one of our rabbis here, the Schmelkin family. And in just a moment, you're going to get to meet additional wonderful members of our community. The Rabin family, whose son will be named this evening as part of our service, and 4 of our amazing B'nai Mitzvah students, Harrison, Dylan, Sydney, and Nico, and we celebrate with them. So if there are people in your house, I invite you to turn to them and wish them a Shabbat Shalom this evening. If there's no one else there with you or there's other people you want to talk to, just give them a text, give them a shout out on Facebook. Find some way to connect in this new year on the first Shabbat of 5781. So we're going to turn now to our candle lighting. And I think our B'nai Mitzvah families are going to join us right there on your screen to light the candles, and I'm also going to call on our president, Jeremy Fielding, to join us on the bima. He's going to light the candles here. All of our B'nai Mitzvah students who will become B'nai Mitzvah tomorrow.
Look
They
at
look
those B'nai
fantastic.
Mitzvah.
4
You look so
amazing
beautiful.
families.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
We can't wait to celebrate with all of these families tomorrow. You can watch them become bar and bat mitzvah and cheer them on tomorrow morning. So we're going to turn now. Mazel tov. Great to see you. We're going to turn now to Lechuna Ranana, which is in the Us on page 12.
Lechu neranena l'Adonai, nariya letzur yishenu. Lechu neranena l'Adonai, nariya letzur
We continue with our songs for Shabbat, Shir Chadash, in your order of service or on page 13.
Shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz. Shiru l'Adonai shir chadash. Shiru shiru l'Adonai. Shiru shiru l'Adonai. Sing unto God on the earth a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God and we'll all sing along. All the earth a new song unto God. Shiru shiru l'Adonai haaretz. Shiru shiru l'Adonai shir chadash. I will sing unto God a new song.
We continue now with Lechado D, the heart of our Kabbalat Shabbat service. We're going to do together verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. And when we reach 9, I invite you to rise if you are able and greet the Shabbat bride.
Ya la 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 Lechado di. Ya la 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 likrat kala. Ya la 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 b'nei Shabbat. B'nei Shabbat nekabel. Ya la 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 Lechado di. Ya la 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 likrat kala. Ya la 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 b'nei Shabbat. B'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad. Yishme'anu el hamiuchad. Adonai echad u'shmo echad. L'shemo tiferet v'litchila. Ya la la la, ya la 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 la, Lechado di. Ya la 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 la, likrat kala. Ya la 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 la, b'nei Shabbat. B'nei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat rise.
Boi v'shalom, ateret bala, gam besimcha, uv'zola, toch emunei, am segula, boi chala, boi chala, yai lai lai, ya la 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 lecha dodi, ya la 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 likrat kala, ya la 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 b'nei Shabbat nekaben, ya la 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 lecha dodi, ya la 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 likrat kala, ya la 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 b'nei Shabbat
We remain standing and turn to page 29 for a reading before Baruch Hu.
There is one, there is one, there is one, there is one.
There is one who sings the song of his own life, finding everything within himself.
There is one, there is one, there is one, there is one. There is one who leaves the circle of herself and sings the song of her people. There is one whose voice rings with the song of humanity, hoping for the highest perfection. There is one, there is one, there is one, there is one.
And there's one who rises even higher, uniting with all creatures, with all worlds, filling the universe with song. Nivarech, let us bless.
Ya la 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 la, 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 ya la 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 la. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed, le'olam va'ed. Ya la 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 la, 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 ya la la la.
You can be seated. In the beginning, there was love. It waited for fertile soil as it would wait for water. It waited for the sun setting into the sea, and to a wave of longing, waited. In the beginning there was love, and it waited until it would have the heavens to look up to the stars, and it waited for Adam and Eve. Someone is waiting for you at home, nearby, maybe around some corner, a place you will call home, that when you go inside it will become yours. In the beginning there was love, and it waited until it would find some rest, and it waited for children in the courtyard, and for a tree to climb and to rest in its shade. In the beginning there was love, and after it sorrow was created, and tears, and the broken heart. And after them came consolation. Someone is waiting for you at home nearby, maybe around some corner, a place you will call home. And when you go inside, it will become yours.
Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Avad. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, ושירתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ושוכבך ובקומך, ושרתם להוד על ידך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לעולמכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם בארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
We turn to our song of freedom and redemption. This is the part of our service that always reminds us what time of year it is, as if we could forget in a moment like this in Shabbat Shuvah. So we turn together to page.
Do 152, but we were back in the first service, so
152.
let's just do that.
Let's do 152.
Or 40.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נולדתי לראות אוסף אלוהים. מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקע הים לפני מרים. זה לי ענו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד.
Thus it is said, Adonai redeemed Jacob from a hand stronger than his own. Praised are you, Adonai, for redeeming Israel.
Sometimes I lay under the moon and thank God I'm breathing. Then I say, don't take me soon, 'cause I'm here for a reason. Sometimes in my tears I drown, but I never let it get me down. So when negativity surrounds, I know someday it'll all turn around, because all my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that they don't want to fight no more. There'll be no more wars, and our children will play one day, one day, one day. Oh, one day, one day, one day. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom v'hamidenu malkei Eloheinu leshalom v'hamidenu malkei Eloheinu leshalom v'hamidenu malkei. Oh, one day, one day, one day. Oh, one day, one day, one day. Oh, one day, one day, one day.
We continue now with our Amidah, beginning with our tefillah on page 155. I invite you to please rise.
Adonai, sefatai tiftach, ufi agit tehilatecha. Adonai, open my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol HaGibor HaNorah, Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, v'Konei HaKol, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. זוכרנו לחיים, מלך חפץ בחיים, וחותמנו בספר החיים, למענך אלוהים חיים. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, בחיים איתי מטרה והושיע. משלים מוריד אתה, מחכה חיים בחסד, מחיים מתים ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים והופך חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בגבורות, ומתעמלך, מלך מביט ומחיה, ומצליח ישועה. ולמען אתה לחיות מתים, ברוך אתה אדוני. קדוש ושמך קדוש וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה ברוך אתה אדוני המלך הקדוש.
We continue the Amidah at our own pace, offering the words of our prayer book or closing them and offering the words of our heart. We take these next moments in silence. In this season of return and reflection, we say, God, we seek you. Where can we find you? Ya'ana emsacha mekomcha na'aleh v'ne'elam Ya'ana lo emsacha כבודך מלא עולם. יענה לו אמצך, מקומך נעלה ונעלם. וענה לו אמצך, כבודך מלא עולם. דרשתי קרבתך בכל ליבי קראתיך ופסיתי לקראתך לקראתי מצאתיך יאי לי 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 יאי לי 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 יאי לי לי That song for me captures so much of the longing, the vulnerability, the rawness of these days of awe as the gates are open and the book is being written. Maybe some of us in our bodies and spirit feel especially vulnerable, feel especially on the edge. And we ask God for our healing. And we ask each other for support and love so that we do not feel alone in this moment. And it's especially hard when we're not physically with each other in the same way. I really felt your absence over these holidays. I feel it tonight. And at the same time, I very much feel connected to you all in these deep ways. So let us hold each other in this moment, especially in this time, on this Shabbat Shuvah. And keep in mind those in our community who are in need of a prayer of healing. We're thinking of Bess Adams, Barbara Aiden, Kathy Barron, Cy Baum, Stephen Berg, Donald Brief, Jerry Calderon, Marcia Canescu, Marcia Firestone, Corey Flom, Jerry Friedman, Ashley Goodman, Alan Helene, Minette Hirsch, Daniel Johnson, Jerry Kane, Herb Kosterlitz, Marjorie Lentz, Michael Madden, Susan Lee Madden, Jill Gross Marks, Alice Naines, Bobby Palmer, Barbara Reish, Rebecca Reish, Frank Rosenberg, Natalie Rosenthal, Sandy Schupper, Anita Shapiro, Jeffrey Shankman, Hanoch Ben Shlomo, David Traub, Jane Vigon, Timothy Webster, Pam Young, and the names that you might be adding out loud in your heart on our Facebook Live. We pray together our Misha Berach prayer for healing.
Misha Berach Avoteinu Avraham Yitzchak veYaakov Sarah Rivka Rachel veLeah Uyevarech veYerabeh et hachalim Misha Berach Avoteinu Avraham Yitzchak veYaakov Sarah Rivka Rachel veLeah Hu yevarech veYerabeh et
And just as we might feel a little bit more raw and vulnerable, it's also when we feel perhaps most open and emotional, and we can experience the small and big joys in a different way as well. So perhaps you can at least think of one thing that has been joyful in this last week that you want to celebrate, or something coming up soon that you are very excited for. I know that there are at least 4 families that are very excited about their children becoming B'nai Mitzvah tomorrow here at Central. We are celebrating with Harrison and Dylan and Sydney and Nika. We say Mazel Tov to all of you. We invite you and your families to rise where you are for us to wave hello to you and say Mazel Tov to you. If perhaps you are celebrating a birthday, like our senior cantor, Dan Mutlu, who had a birthday today and spent a good part of it here in synagogue rehearsing for high holidays. We say happy birthday to all of you celebrating in this week or upcoming week. If you are celebrating an anniversary, we say Mazel Tov to you. We invite you to celebrate that joy. If you enjoyed the turn of, I don't know, summer to fall, which felt like it really happened this week, I guess right on time for the holidays. If you had a chance to connect with friends or family that you don't usually get to see, perhaps outdoors or maybe online. If you enjoyed being able to celebrate Rosh Hashanah with our extended community, even though virtually feeling very real that we ushered in this new year together. If you're grateful that you've made it to this Shabbat Shuvah, and that you want to be here, if there's anything that you want to name in the quiet of your own heart as you are celebrating, let us multiply our joys together and join in this prayer of gratitude.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה.
And now, adding to that joy, we have the particular beautiful mitzvah of being able to name a child of our congregation. I'd love Shane Rabin to show. Oh, look, with his family. Oh my gosh, I'm dying. Welcome to the world, Shane. We are so excited. We welcome you with so much joy and so much love. Your family is already so beloved here at Central Synagogue. Your brother Ethan is a graduate of our nursery school, and look at how well he is doing. And now he goes to the Heschel School, and he's a budding Hebrew scholar himself. So we are so happy that you're all together. Your parents have given you this English name of Shane, meaning God is gracious, because they feel particularly grateful that you've come to the world, and it was a long wait for you to come. So they are feeling particularly grateful on that. And they've given you a beautiful Hebrew name of Shalom Ever. And you are named for two incredible ancestors in your family. Shalom is in honor of your mother Simone's grandfather Shlomo. He had an epic Jewish story. He was born in Bessarabia at the age of only 16. His brother sponsored him on a trip to America. And in the middle of his trip, the Immigration Act of 1924 was signed, and they did not allow his ship to enter. So he ended up in Paris, and then Argentina, and finally landed in Brazil. And there in Sao Caetano, he was a founder of his community's first synagogue and a Jewish day school. And he said that the founding of the State of Israel was one of the happiest days of his life. So you have this Jewish family that spans basically the whole globe, just in one ancestor that you are now named for. He died young at the age of 48, but he made such an impact in his time on the earth. He was a dignified man and a real mensch. And Ever honors your father Brian's mom's family. It is her maiden name. And we're thinking of Stella as well, where S comes from her. And this name is sort of, I don't know if I've ever heard this before, it's topographical, which means it refers to where you come from, and usually living near somewhere like a stream. So your parents were so creative. They came up with this name, Ever, which means to cross over, like a stream. And I don't know if they knew this when they picked it or not, but Ever is also the Hebrew root for the name of Hebrews, Ivrim, or the Hebrew word Ivrit, which is Hebrew. And because we are named as those who cross over. We are boundary crossers, the Hebrews, and every time we crossed over a river like the Yabok or the Euphrates, we would be transformed. And so that is why we have that name. And we are those who cross over. And now, here we are on Shabbat Shuvah, crossing over into a new year with you, Ever, and all the hope and possibility that this new year brings. And seeing you, and your brother, for that matter, on this Shabbat Shuvah, we see in you the embodiment of all the hope and possibility of crossing over into this new year in one beautiful, tiny bundle. All the hope and possibility that we pray for. And how poetic that your name, Shalom Ever, Shalom meaning peace, sounds something like peace forever. So may that be your blessing, Shalom Ever. As we offer you our tradition's oldest blessing, we'll invite it on your family on this beautiful day that you are officially welcomed into our community.
Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
We say, Ken Yehi Ratzon. May God bless you and keep you.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka. Ken Yehi Ratzon.
May God be gracious to you and shine light on you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. Shalom.
Ken Yehi Ratzon. And may you, whose name is embodied in that blessing, Shalom Ever, may you always know a sense of abundance and joy, and most of all, God's peace. We love you. Say many, many blessings. Thank you for letting us share in the joy of welcoming you to the world. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. I am angry. I stand here before you on this Shabbat and I am filled with rage. Rage that our planet is burning and flooding. Rage that millions are sick and over 200,000 are dead and our government has turned the other way. Rage that schools do not have the resources to figure out how to open safely or plan for remote learning. Rage that so many in our city sleep on the streets at night. Rage that we can't take even a moment to mourn a great jurist without turning it into a political battle. Rage at racial injustice that results in the killing of Black people by police. Rage, anger, and rage. It's probably not what you expected to hear this evening, especially after that beautiful baby naming, but rabbis are taught to give the sermon that we need to hear, and this is where I am. Anger is an emotion that we're told not to have, especially women and people of color. Our anger makes people uncomfortable. We hide our anger in small group texts full of angry emojis, wondering, am I the only one who feels this way? Numerous texts in our tradition warn us about the dangers of anger. We implore God to be slow to anger. Anger is an emotion we apologize for in many of our high holiday confessional prayers. We were angry, we say, and we beat our chests. We will do better. We will be less angry. But I looked at this week's Parsha and I realized that I'm in good company with my anger. Ha'azinu is a farewell poem, but it's not a calm goodbye as Moses fades into the end of his life. Instead, Moses is full of anger because he is deeply aware of his own failures and the failures of the Israelite people. God is also quite angry, described in this Parsha as incensed, vexed, fire-flaring, wreaking vengeance, pestilence, and plague. If people stay in relationship with God, they are safe from the anger. But if they stray, well, then you better watch out. If Moses can be angry and God can be angry, what about us? Might there be a place for our anger after all? We are in the season of change, and the world is literally and figuratively on fire. We need a new approach to personal and communal tshuva, and perhaps we can use our anger as a motivational rather than a destructive force. There's a story in the Talmud that talks about the Yetzer HaTov, the good inclination, and the Yetzer Hara, our evil inclination. The community decides to capture the Yetzer Hara because they think it will wipe out all the negative in their society. They find the Yetzer Hara and manage to squish it inside of a box. For a while, everything is great. People are kind to one another, there's no more fighting or violence. But then they start to notice something. No new houses are being built. No one is getting new jobs. No new babies are being born. Without the Yetzer Hara, the people lack the motivation to create new things, to better their lives and the lives of their community. The people of this town mischaracterize the Yetzer Hara as the source of complete evil. In fact, when harnessed correctly, the Yetzer Hara is the thing that pushes us to better ourselves, our lives, and our world. Without the Yetzer Hara, there is no Tikkun Olam. Channeled correctly, anger, fear, and anguish can be motivators for change and transformation. As Rabbi Alan Liu teaches, intense afflictive states, anger, boredom, fear, guilt, impatience, grief, disappointment, dejection, anxiety, despair, are the great markers of our tshuva. By their very intensity, they call us to transformation. We are taught to hide these strong feelings, to not give off negative vibes, and make sure we're turning a happy face to the world. But what if it's those very feelings let out of their box that will be the beginning of a new world? What if our anger, our grief, our rage is necessary to transform our world? The old way isn't working. It's time to try something new. Anger can be a strategy. Uncontrolled, it can lead to hate and division, and we have seen so very much of that. This is God's anger at the golden calf, burning fast and hot, threatening to destroy the people for their idolatry. But righteous anger, productive rage, that can change the world. In that very same story, Moses smashes the tablets after witnessing the people's betrayal of God. And the rabbis in the Talmud imagine God shaking Moses' hand and saying, Yashar koach sheshibarta. Great job for breaking those tablets. Your anger was righteous and right. What is happening in the world was enough to make you destroy even tablets created by God's own hand. So let's call it righteous anger or productive rage. And it should not be locked away in a box because we need it. Without it, you don't get I dissent. You don't get people standing up to say not one more or never again. You don't get communities coming together to protect the vulnerable in their neighborhoods or to demand justice for those who cannot speak for themselves. Because that anger, the kind that has flared up inside of me and possibly inside of you as well, is motivated by love and justice and empathy and compassion. So if you're angry, good. Use it. Use it for personal transformation and tshuva, but don't stop there. Harness the transformative power of that anger to fight, because what's a fight without a little anger? And what if instead of hiding that anger, we let it propel us to the streets, to the phone and text banks and to the voting booth, to the Shiva house and the homeless shelter, to open our hearts and our wallets? What if anger is the force that lets us look at the world through new eyes and see someone who needs us? What if it is that anger that allows us to fulfill the command of Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Zichrona Livracha, to fight for what we care about, but in a way that allows others to join us? That would be an anger that is both righteous and transformative. That would be an anger that would cause God to reach out God's hand and say, Yashar koach sheshibarta, great job at breaking the tablets. That would be an anger benefiting the season of tshuva. Activist, writer, and educator Brittany Packnett Cunningham wrote, I choose the discipline of hope over the ease of cynicism. I choose fortitude over fatalism. I choose to be who my ancestors protected and my Creator formed. I choose strategy and organizing as the container for my anger. Note well that I didn't say don't choose to be anxious, sad, fearful. Your feelings are your feelings. They are valid. But cynicism is what occurs when our feelings have no direction. I feel all the feels. I have been for weeks, months, years. You can't be living in and through this and not have them. But as I process, I choose to give my feelings a place to go that helps us heal. To stretch out my hand to find the light in the darkness, to be light if other folks are having a hard time seeing it right now. I understand. We're here to help you lift your head. That is our path. That is where we need to take our anger. We need to use our anger as a fuel to light a candle or a torch or a bonfire to help others lift up their heads. We need to light the way so the path forward is clear for those who are already awake and those who are slowly being roused by the sound of the shofar. We know how to help others lift their heads. We know how to be the light for those who need it. Locate that light. Use it. Rage against the dying of the light. My friend Rabbi Lauren Holtzblatt taught, now is the pivot moment. Now is when we take responsibility and craft where we want to go. The future will look different than anything we have known before, but radical uncertainty can only lead to great change. We must hope. We must vote. We must continue to take care of each other. 5781, greet us with compassion. We are hurting, but we are not broken. Let us rise to meet the moment. Hear the call to transformation. Hear the call to see the light. This is our moment, and I will see you there. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Amen.
Amen. We rise. Aleinu, it is on us. Page 282. Aleinu leshabeach laton hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. יתקדם ויתקדש שמי רבה.
Share a poem by Rabbi Sylvan Kamens and Rabbi Jack Reamer. I invite you to join me in the refrain, we remember them. In the rising of the sun and in its going down, we remember them. In the blowing of the wind and in the chill of winter, we remember them. In the opening of buds and in the rebirth of spring, we remember them. In the blueness of the sky and in the warmth of summer, we remember them. In the rustling of leaves and in the beauty of autumn, we remember them. In the beginning of the year and when it ends, we remember them. When we are weary and in need of strength, we remember them. When we are lost and sick at heart, we remember them. When we have joys we yearn to share, we remember them. So long as we live, they too shall live, for they are now a part of us as we remember them. We take and remember those from our armed services who died in the last week. That is our custom, but I'm happy to say there are none to report this week. Sadly, I named just a few of the many civilians who've died in mass shootings in just the last week. Jarvis Alexander, age 19, of Rochester. Sharnetta Dunmore, age 35, of Stamford, Connecticut, and Rowan Sweeney, age 4, of Ohio. And we name those whom death has taken recently from our Central Synagogue community: Carol Kahn, mother of Susie Stern; Alan Laffer, husband of Lauren, father of Abby, brother of Miriam and Robbie; Alvin Lefkowitz, father of Peter; Norma Utall Levitt, mother of Nancy Hoffman; Arnold McInnes, husband of Shirley, father of Karen, Judy, and Brian; Carol Ressler; Jerry Rosenblum, husband of Paula, father of Lauren Goldman and Emily Baxter; Michael Albert Rosenbluth, husband of Kathy and father of Adam, Eliza, and Julie; Robert Schwartzefel, father of Stephen; Jeffrey Silverberg, brother of Joan Beck; Farah Sofer, mother of Joe, Alfred, Orly, and Dahlia. And we name those whose yahrzeits, the anniversary of their death, occur this week: Esther Amsterdam, Stephen Barron, Dora Beckerman, Augusta Berger, Paulette Block, Jack Bolatoff, Helen Brodsky, Misha Corton, Belle Denofer, Ben Fetter, Jerome Flink, Walter S. Friedman, Ethel Freeman, Essie Furman, Doris Gable, Sidney Garber, Charles Gerskop, Selvin Ginsberg, Barbara Glickman, Shirley Goldsmith, Joseph Gerwin, Martin Harmon, Milton Harwood, J. Jean Hochfelder, Marshall Hockhauser, Jane Jones, Sophia Kaftal, Lila Katzen, Joseph Kaufman, Alex Kogan, Ann Kramer, Sidney Kreiser, Louis Kuman, Lawrence Lane, Ruth Levy, Howard Levy, Irene Lichtenstein, Arnold Lipkin, Howard Michaels, Jack Nadell, Gloria Nahum, Margaret Nudell, Blanche Present, Gladys Ratson, Rose Ricklin, David Roman, Louis Rudin, David Schoenfeld, Eleanor Schwartzwald, Jeffrey Silverman, Marcia Smith, Judy Spiegel, Rita Stitzer, Janet I. Stone, Abe Strauber, Jesse Strauss, Jonathan Tobias, Belle Wagner, Jacob Wallach, Howard Weinstein. Those you might name in this moment of memory as well. I invite you, if you are in Shiva the first 7 days of mourning a loved one, to rise if you are able. If you're in the first 30 days of mourning a loved one, I invite you to rise. If you're in the first year of mourning a loved one, I invite you to rise. If you're observing a yahrzeit at this time, I invite you to rise. May the memories of your loved ones be an enduring blessing. And we join with you, if we're able, to rise with you in sympathy and in comfort as we join in Kadisha Tome, the Mourner's Kaddish, found on page 294. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah v'yalma divrach rutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei techol beit Yisrael ba'agala u'vizman kari v'imru amen. Yehi shmei rabbah mevorach leolam u'lamei almaya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei kudisha brichu Le'elam in kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata ta'amiran v'yalma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imrumav hu ya'aseh shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. it is wonderful to be back in our sanctuary. I still have to adjust to the not being in High Holiday setup. I didn't know where I was supposed to look for my cameras, but I wanted to look at you. I hope you saw me looking at you. And we are so grateful to be joined by our musicians who just add every week, but I don't take it for granted, especially after so many months of not having the chance to do Shabbat together. I'm so happy to be with my colleagues, with our president, Jeremy Fielding. And Rebecca, she did warn us that she said, you know, I don't know how I'm going to go from a baby naming into I'm angry, but you did, you helped remind us that that is righteous anger that helps bring new life and new possibilities into the world. So I think that you pulled it off very well.
Thank you.
I think it's now time to bless. If we can join together in Kiddush. Cantor, please lead us.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzah banu v'shabbat kosho be'ahava uvratzon hinpilanu zikaron le'maaseh b'reishit ki hu yom tevilo למקראי קודש, זכר לציון מצרים. כי באנו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת מכל עמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. Amen.
Don't you love that choir?
Ah, so good.
So good.
Do you know how happy my kids are that I have the job of challah? Because I'm the only one who can touch it now.
Right,
and
so you have to
then
bring
I'll
that
get to
challah
take it home, and
That's right.
they're very excited about
It's a
it.
sweet gig, Rabbi Rosenthal.
It's really it's a good one.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
Shabbat shalom.
So Cantor, what should we do to close?
we were just debating that very question.
I know. Well, the cue sheet says Hashivenu, but I was just
That was
thinking
our
that
plan.
feels.
But what were you thinking,
I
Rabbi?
was actually thinking that in honor of, inspired by Shalom Ever, our baby, and by Rebecca's song, I really felt like we needed a prayer for peace and moving forward, Shalom Ever. Hashivenu is really great to return, but for some reason I feel like the mood, we need to actually pray a little bit for that sense of righteous agitation to lead to peace. So
we
what
always
about,
need to pray for
could we
peace.
do that?
Let's do that. I like that.
Od Yavo, could we do Od Yavo? All right. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Ve'al kulam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Ve'al kulam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Ve'al kulam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu. Ve'al kulam. Salam. Salam. Aleinu ve'yakolam. Salam. Shalom. Salam. Salam. Aleinu ve'yakolam. find peace in these days of awe, and also find our anger to move forward and create and make anew. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.